brilliant. Kicked it, yes. Okay, hello everybody. Hope you're all well at these difficult times. I announced earlier in the week for Pbeccas the command figure I was going to, I'd sent away for, I think it was a Reaper figure actually. It was on eBay, and it was a 28mm figure of Count Dracula in more or less a Hollywood or traditional garb, not his historical aspect, but nevertheless stretching a point, a command figure. Anyway, either because the post is failing, although we always blame them, or there's a problem where it's coming from. I know, for example, that the Perrys, I believe, have closed down at the present time, Perry Miniatures, for orders. As far as I'm aware, I was on their website the other day, and I'm sure that's what they were saying. It doesn't look like I'm going to get the figure in time enough, and indeed any of my own figures that I've ordered from Newland Miniatures, having said that, it'll probably turn up tomorrow. I've pulled out an old box of hats, British Rocket Troops, which should go nicely with my 1812 project, in particularly the advance on I think it was Bladensburg, prior to attacking Washington and burning the White House in 1814. So I'm going to have a look at these and make a start on probably the command section of these figures. I know Gary of Marksman Gaming, I think he's done quite a few of these, and as I say, I'm going to start off with the command figures, which, you know, very reminiscent of the Airfix Royal Horse Artillery, really, but obviously much nicer in terms of moulding. But I'm going to sort out some of these and at least try and get 2 or 3 sort of set up as command, because as I say, by the time I don't know if there's a time limit on the Pbeccas project, but I don't think I'm going to see the figures I've ordered anytime soon. So I'm going to make a start on a Royal Artillery rocket detachment command group. Comes also with a sort of wagon, but also wanted to show you this book by Peter Snow, who some of you may know as a BBC correspondent, or more properly one of the guys who appears with the charts and graphs when there's a British election. And when Britain burned the White House, the 1814 invasion of Washington, by Peter Snow. Very good book, with some marvellous pictures of the White House, which apparently the main building there is still very much central to the modern White House. I have heard that if you're on a guided tour of the White House, you get to see small sections that are still blackened where the British burnt it, and it's a very good book. It details the attack on, as I say, Bladensburg, just outside Washington, the actual occupation of Washington itself for a couple of days, and then the attempt to similarly invade Baltimore, which wasn't quite so successful. The Americans had got themselves together. There was an awful lot of, there were some very poor command decisions shown by the Americans, and some of the troops that they had in the area weren't up to much. They were militia, and the British troops, having come more or less directly from the Peninsular War, there was some cracking regular redcoats, and they were able to go through and burn the public buildings in Washington. you know, I mean, it's a war that's not widely known. I mean, it's not widely publicised, I suppose, understandably in America, in particular. But we know very little about it either. But apparently, outside of 9/11, it's the only time that a foreign enemy has ever actually attacked Washington, and they did it quite thoroughly. I mean, I think Dolly Madison, President Madison's wife, got away with a few cartloads of valuable documents, including a full-length painting of Washington. But the British were able to sit down and enjoy a meal that had been prepared for the president and his lady, and yeah, I think they protected private buildings. Unfortunately, I think the library did go up and in flames, and as I say, it was no, it was quite a campaign. It's not at all widely known. I mean, I'm sure we know it amongst our community, but generally, it's not got very much exposure, particularly coming as it did at a time between the Peninsular War and the Battle of Waterloo. You know, some cracking stories in there, and you know, as I say, if you get a chance, it's well worth picking up as a paperback, and very, very inspiring stuff. And you know, it's going to be my inroad into Napoleonics, which I'm not my main interest, but it's hard not to be inspired by this particular campaign. Anyway, I hope you're doing all right, Paul. And as I say, I'm going to get cracking with these command figures, because it's been about a week or so with all, you know, current affairs that I've not actually really done much other than read, and I don't like to not paint regularly, because I seem to lose the knack. I seem to have to start again after a layoff of more than a few days. I seem to have to sort of learn how to do it again. But it comes anyway, and I shall try and knock out 2 or 3 of these for the command stand. But I hope you're all doing well in these difficult times, and you know, the toilet rolls are back, so things are looking up anyway. Cheers, bye bye.